Welcome back to Donslife. Welcome to the channel. There are 4 things that I want to talk about today. First, I just want to land a few points with regards to the last video I made, which was about the GM insider that contacted me about the 6.2 liter L87 recall. And then I want to review or provide a review for the 3 new documents that are related to this L87 recall. Let's go. Fair warning, I usually make automotive DIY, modification, and review videos. I'm not a journalist. I speak the way that I speak. I try to add context in depth where I feel it might be needed, and I'm not here to lie, embellish, or take a stance. If that upsets you, then you may not want to keep watching. Sometimes I want to talk out a point because I'll get criticized if I don't, and I'll get criticized if I do. And I guess that's just the nature of the internet. But my video does have chapters in it. So if you want to skip ahead to the points that interest you, then I suggest that you pay attention to that detail and you can go for the goods and see what you want to see. So I'm just a person that owns a GM vehicle that happens to be in this recall, which is why I've chosen to continue to report about it. And there's more people that seem to want to know what's going on through my interpretation of the information than the people that don't. So if you want to continue on, great, love to have you here. If you don't, that's okay too. So that takes me to the first thing that I wanted to talk about today, which is the video that I made about the GM insider contacting me. The video itself was pretty well received, other than some small pockets of backlash, but I wanted to reiterate what the title of the video was, because the title I don't feel was clickbait at all. The title's pretty simple. GM insider contacted me, here's what I can share. The information in the video was intended to help with accuracy and also confirm some suspicions that many of us had. It also established that I'm in communication with a GM insider in case they're able to share some new information down the road. If that's not spicy enough for you, that's okay. Let's have a look at these new documents that were just posted on the NHTSA's website. Okay, I've got the 3 latest documents printed here. I'm gonna go over them. I'm gonna summarize them where I can, and I'm gonna keep this as short as possible. So if you skip the beginning and you join me here, great job, you found the chapters. All of these documents are public knowledge. If you know how to find them, then great. If you don't, I'll make it easy for you. I'll link them in the video description below. At the time of recording this, there's 19 documents related to this recall on the NHTSA's website. This I'm going to dub document 17 out of 19. I'll overlay the official document as I speak through some of the highlights. On May 14th, the following document landed on the NHTSA site in the recall section for the 6.2 liter L87. Part 573 Safety Recall Report. I'm just going to highlight the main points because this is really what it says, a summary, so there's not really much new here. It starts off with the submission date, the NHTSA recall number, manufacturer recall number, talks about the population of affected vehicles, 597,571, which is estimated to be 3% that are defective. Next is vehicle information from pages 1 to 3. It goes over all the different models that are affected. There's one sentence that's captured in each of these vehicle descriptions that I wanted to highlight, and that's built within the suspect manufacturing window. So it's not definitive, it's suspect. Well, at least that's a starting place. Flipping ahead to page 4, I just wanted to read the description of the cause because I think it's important to hear this from time to time. Engine teardown analysis identified 2 primary root causes, both of which are attributable to supplier manufacturing and quality issues. 1, rod bearing damage from sediment on connecting rods and crankshaft oil galleries, and 2, out of specification crankshaft dimensions and surface finish. Heading over to page 5, if you're interested in the chronology, it's listed here dating back to January 16th, 2025. When this investigation really kicked off. And lastly is the description of remedy. I think it's good I cover it quickly because we do have 16 other documents that have pieces of this information, so let's recap it all in one place. Dealers will inspect and, as necessary, repair or replace the engine. Vehicles that pass inspection will be provided a higher viscosity oil, which will also require a new oil fill cap, an oil filter replacement, and an owner's manual insert. All stuff we knew. How remedy components differs from recalled component. Connecting rods and crankshafts in repaired or replaced engines were produced after the supplier's suspect manufacturing window. Identify how and when recall condition was corrected in production. A series of crankshaft and connecting rod manufacturing improvements implemented on or before June 1st, 2024. Address contamination and quality issues. So that's the summary of this document. Let's talk about the next one. There were two documents that were posted either later in the day, May 14th, or early morning, May 15th. I don't really know. Either way, I have the next one here. The next one's a dealer message regarding the Picoscope for L87 field action. Like me, if you're curious what a Pico test involves for this L87 recall, I found a nice little video on YouTube by Mr. Greg Wrench. It shows you start to finish what the test will look like, what a pass looks like, to decide if you need the new oil or an engine replacement. I'll link this in the video description below. This one's short, so I'll just read it. Urgent, distribute immediately, May 9th, 2025. Subject, Picoscope for L87 field action. Previously announced safety recall N25249400 stop delivery will require a GM Picoscope for the future service procedure. A GM Picoscope was sent to all US and Canadian dealers in 2015 as an essential tool. The GM Picoscope sent in 2015 and subsequent derivatives will work in the service procedure, provided it is a GM branded Picoscope and not an aftermarket equivalent. The GM Picoscope will be used in conjunction with harness GM-60539 that is being auto-shipped to dealers May 5th to 14th, 2025. Important, in the event that the GM Picoscope cannot be located at your dealership because Jeff lost it,
my name is Jeff.
Just added that part, please order GM 51450-scope-B from the gmglobaltools.com. Inventory is expected to begin arriving by the end of June 2025. We are asking dealers to only order one unit at this time as inventory is limited. Other Picoscope accessories such as NVH, electrical diagnostics, etc. that are separate will be made available at a later date. End of message. Well, that's pretty straightforward. They either have a 10-year-old tool that will work for this inspection, or they need to order one, but don't overdo it because there's limited supply. And that brings me to my last document right here, which was also launched at the same time as the Picoscope notice. I'm also going to summarize this one because it's probably not that interesting to you unless you happen to be a GM dealer and you're looking for a working capital loan. So that's exactly what this memo is. This document is an urgent communication from General Motors to its dealers regarding the safety recall N252494000, which affects certain 21 to 2024 GM models. The recall involves a loss of engine propulsion and the required repair is not yet available. Dealers are instructed to hold affected vehicles in their inventory and refrain from delivering, trading, or using them until further notice. To assist dealers financially, GM has introduced the Working Capital Assistance Program, WCAP, allowing dealers to apply for compensation for eligible vehicles in their inventory. Dealers must verify eligibility and follow specific application procedures through GM's Global Warranty Management System, the GWM. Eligibility requires vehicles to be properly reported in inventory and retained until the recall bulletin is released. Payments will be processed through the GWM system, and GM emphasizes compliance with the program guidelines. GM reserves the right to modify or terminate the program at its discretion. Well there, now we're up to date with everything on the NHTSA's website when it comes to the recall, so hopefully that helped many of you. But now I can turn my efforts, at least until the next update, to automotive projects, mods, DIY, and some reviews. And when will that next update be? I don't think anyone really knows. It could be days, it could be weeks. Hopefully these summaries and me following the story and sharing what I'm learning is helpful to some of you. If it is, hit that like button. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk to you next time.